Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. This story takes place in a time when Earth is mostly covered by water. We soon see Koratoa, a village in the middle of the ocean. It then focuses on a group of people in Koratoa, sharing a pitcher of water. Unfortunately, it's not enough for everyone, so a guy named Timur gives his share of water to a child. A man named Tustin, who appears to be the group's leader, looks out into the ocean as if searching for something. Willow, a young woman, approaches him and observes an artifact that tells the time, but Tustin immediately tells her that the sunstone, like the flame, is for her to practice and learn to tell the time correctly. Shortly after, Tustin notices a boat approaching and tells Willow to hide the sunstone. At that moment, Timur approaches Tustin and informs him that he has successfully created fresh water, but Tustin interrupts him by saying that now is not the time. Timur notices the approaching ship and quickly departs. The boat docks in their village, and a man named Mason and some men disembark. They begin to inspect the people's offerings, but Mason becomes angry at the insufficient offerings and informs Tustin that his boss, Ian Fien, will not be pleased with the amount he's providing. He then gives him a small amount of water to last for the next month in exchange for the offerings. However, Tustin tells him that the water will not be enough to sustain his people, so Mason helps him by ordering his men to take 6 women from the village. Willow immediately grabs a knife, wanting to confront them, but Timur quickly stops her and urges her to hide, saying he will handle it. Tustin, on the other hand, attempts to negotiate with Mason by offering himself in exchange for his people, but Mason ends up hurting him instead, rejecting his offer. Soon, the village descends into chaos, and Willow is captured by Mason's men. Seeing this, Timur attempts to assist her, but he is halted by a woman named Shaun, who tells him it's too dangerous. Meanwhile, Mason ties up and hangs Tustin on the edge of his boat. He then throws a device into the ocean, attracting some sharks. Using his electronic gloves, Mason begins to control the sharks in the ocean, making them devour Tustin and attack the other villagers. Mason then demands that the village double their offerings next time, or he will capture all of them and deliver them to his boss, Ian Fien, for a worse fate. He and his men then depart. After their departure, Timur retrieves a small submarine pod in hopes of saving Willow and the others. However, Shaun attempts to stop him again. This time, her efforts are unsuccessful, so, with no other option, Shaun accompanies him and follows Mason's boat. While traveling, Shaun begins to discuss how she has never seen anyone control sharks as Mason did. However, Timur, who has witnessed it before, informs her that he saw people do the same when he was a child. But those people were kind and did not use the sharks for evil deeds. He adds that those people are no longer alive and proceeds with the mission. They soon arrive at the villain's village, where they witness Willow and the others being held as prisoners. Timur decides to leave his submarine to save the rest, instructing Shaun to wait inside and escape if they encounter trouble. Unfortunately, Timur is spotted by Mason's men and tries to fight back, but is forced back into the submarine after narrowly escaping a flamethrower. Shaun witnesses this and immediately drives the submarine toward him. However, she accidentally triggers some motion sensors, releasing a fleet of sharks that begin to chase them. Fortunately, Timur manages to re-enter the submarine, but they are soon attacked by sharks, which leads him to dive deeper into the water to avoid them due to the pressure of the deep waters, which causes his submarine to be crushed. Fortunately, they manage to climb up just in time before they are killed. Meanwhile, Willow and the other prisoners are subjected to hard labor, forced to operate turbines to produce fresh water. During this time, she overhears the warlord Ian and Mason discussing their new freshwater making device. Mason informs his boss that once the device is operational, they will no longer require people to spin the turbines and will use the prisoners as shark food instead. Ian agrees, and departs. Defeated, Timur and Shaun return to their village, where Timur is advised by their elder to give up. However, he refuses to give up and decides to take a bunch of valuable items from his home. Together, he and Shaun go to seek the help of individuals who can assist them. They find the first one, named Nimue, and she's a free diver who can stay underwater for a long time. He also hires Edger, an electrical engineer, and Toby, an explosives expert. Together, they are going to steal a boat, but Timur soon tells them that the boat they are going to steal belongs to the boss of the henchmen who took Willow. They are also introduced to the roles they will play and the subsequent rewards, which make them accept. Timur talks to Aldrin, a ship captain, but she doesn't accept the offer. They try to convince other captains, but none of them show interest. Timur and Shaun are disheartened, but the three who accepted the plan stole a boat, and now they can proceed. However, the ship's cargo is valuable and has the recipient for the feared warlord Ian. So, Timur calls his fortress. Mason answers, and Timur tries to trade the ship for the release of his friends. But Mason doesn't accept the offer and threatens him, saying he will kill Timur's entire village if he doesn't return the ship. Afraid, Timur decides to return the ship without any conditions. They send the ship, but when the cargo reaches Ian, he realizes that he has been deceived. The Koratoa village sends a message to Timur, warning him to return Ian's cargo. Timur discovers that his hired team stole the valuable cargo for themselves. However, they explain that this action will delay the killing of humans that Ian needs to operate the machine. They add that they have placed a surprise for Ian inside the ship. Toby, who loves exploding things, placed surprise bombs, and when the time comes, the bombs explode. This enrages Ian, and he sends a message to Timur and his people, stating that he will kill them, using a large number of sharks underwater to destroy them. First, he sets an example by having Mason control the sharks to eliminate a person while Willow and the other prisoners helplessly watch. Timur and other people like Aldrin on the line hear the screams. After that, Ian orders his men to throw Willow into the ocean. After they do, Mason controls the sharks to attack her, but somehow, the sharks don't attack her. We see a flashback of Willow, where her father left her the Sunstone artifact, which would help her and protect her. This incident makes Ian realize that Willow is special, so he takes her somewhere else. Timur, who is on the line, hears this and calls out to her, but Ian offers him a last chance to save everyone by asking him to deliver the items to him. After he gathers the items, he decides to give up and asks his teammates to leave. But at that moment, Aldrin approaches them, and together with the others, they convince Timur not to give up. So with newfound hope, the team thinks of a plan to fight back. Using Aldrin's boat, the team travels to Ian's village, hoping to rescue everyone and take down the cruel warlord. Meanwhile, Ian goes to talk to Willow and asks how she can control the sharks without any device, and this reminds him of a man a long time ago who did the same, showing that he had some kind of power that controlled the sharks. But she tells him that she doesn't know how, but the warlord doesn't believe her. So he puts her in the water again, this time with a tiger shark, and threatens her with it. But she still doesn't say anything, so he threatens her once more by sending Mason and some men to take the Koratoa people hostage. As Mason and his men wait near the Koratoa village for their orders to attack, Ian gets the idea to place sensory devices on Willow's head, hoping to learn how she controls the sharks. He then throws one of the prisoners into the ocean and releases some sharks. He asks Willow to use her abilities to make the sharks eat the poor woman. But of course, she doesn't listen to him. But Ian threatens her by asking Mason to get ready to attack, so with no choice, she starts asking the sharks to attack the woman. But just then, the alarms around start ringing. Ian and his men then realize that they are under attack by Timur and his friends. So they quickly release the sharks on them. Timur sees this and gets on his hoverboard to distract them while Edgar tries to scan Ian's village to know where the prisoners are located. Timur soon gets attacked by a catapult, but luckily, he dodges it. Realizing that he is too difficult to hit, they release a catapult at the boat. Aldrin asks Edgar if they can leave now, but he says he hasn't fully scanned the area yet, so they approach. Wanting to take them down, Ian orders some sharks to attack Timur and the boat. So Timur quickly returns to the boat, but in doing so, he is attacked by a shark and falls into the water. Fortunately, Timur survives and quickly swims back to the boat, but at that moment, a shark jumps and eats Toby, shocking everyone. They quickly regroup and help Timur back up. The group then moves the boat to a safe location. Despite being saddened by the loss of their friend, the group decides to continue with their plan. So Edgar, who managed to scan the entire area, tells them where the prisoners are. Then Timur and Ninyu dive into the water to enter the facility underwater. But when they do, the sharks start chasing them. It doesn't take long for Ninyu to be attacked by one of them and taken to her end. Meanwhile, Edgar detects a large shark with bombs on it approaching the boat. So Aldrin quickly grabs a harpoon gun and shoots at the shark. But after failing to take it down, she tells everyone to abandon the boat. While everyone jumps into the water, the shark approaches and collides with the boat, causing it to explode. However, now the three in the water are in danger. A shark emerges and begins to attack Edgar, and he does not survive. With their friend dead, Shaun and Aldrin are now adrift at sea and about to be killed as well. Willow, who senses that her friends are in danger, tries to use her powers to control the sharks from a distance. She fails at first but soon succeeds and lures the sharks away from Shaun and Aldrin. They then swim to Ian's fortress but are captured. However, Ian saw what Willow did, so he orders his men to catch her and bring her to him. Ian then repeats the exercise from before and hooks Willow up again with monitoring devices, and this time he controls the sharks to attack Shaun and Aldrin. Seeing them in danger, Willow uses her powers to stop the sharks, but this gives Ian and his men all the information they need. Willow sees this, so she starts making the sharks attack Ian's men instead. So Ian quickly electrocutes her with the monitoring device, and she faints. After getting what he needs from her, Ian and his men throw Willow into the ocean so she will drown. Fortunately, Timur arrives in time and manages to save her. But at that moment, Mason arrives and starts attacking him. Timur is soon overpowered by Mason, and just when he's about to finish him off, Willow wakes up and makes a shark eat Mason, saving Timur's life. The two of them then pick up Shaun and Aldrin on board, and together, they go to release and save the prisoners. After they do, Shaun and Aldrin decide to split up to find some treasure while Timur and Willow escape. But at that moment, they are stopped by Ian and fall into the water. Soon, an army of sharks attacks them, but Willow uses her powers again to stop them and makes them attack Ian instead. The movie ends showing some time later, with all of them returning to Koratoa, where Willow is trained to control the power she has and is crowned the new Queen of the Sea.